guys, it's Gretchen and welcome back to my channel. So a while ago, well not that long ago, I posted a picture on Instagram of this look and everyone went gaga over it. So for today's video, I thought I would recreate that look so you all could see how I did it. So if you're interested, stay tuned. All right, so here I am, no makeup. It's terrifying, I know. But my face is cleaned, it is moisturized, it is ready to go. The first thing I'm gonna do is use some primer. I'm quite obsessed with the Too Faced Hangover one. It's a very hydrating primer, and since I do have mostly dry skin, my skin is acne prone, so it's combo skin. The majority is dry, so especially like around my nose and my like forehead, very dry. You will also notice that just the slightest touch to my face will turn it red. So if while I'm doing my makeup, it comes red at any point, don't be alarmed. It's just because I'm pale. Now it's time to color correct the crap out of my face because it has issues, and also to use some eyeshadow primer. So the first thing I'm gonna do is the eyeshadow primer. I use the Urban Decay. I use the anti-aging one because, I mean, you're never too young or old to start using anti-aging products. Now I always go in with my 3-color correcting. I use the Urban Decay Naked Skin. I always start with the pink, which I put under my eyes. And then I buff that in. Doesn't get rid of it entirely, but it makes me feel better. Next, I go in with yellow, and I can't remember, I always say this, I can't remember whose channel I learned it from, but if you have like any kind of pimply bumps, you like want to use yellow on it because it's a different shade of red, even though you think you should use green on it. But I can't remember whose channel that was on now that I learned that from. But basically what I end up doing is I put it over top of any bumps that I don't like, and then I eventually go back with the green anyway, so it's kind of like an extra defense. And then finally I take my green and I take that usually onto like my nose and cheek and like here, a little bit there. And then if I notice any other spots like on my chin, some other bumps that I may have like gotten the color down, like toned down, but if it didn't go as much as I would like, then I go back in with the green. Wow, I look really green. It's probably because of the ring light. It doesn't normally look this green, and I promise once I put foundation and concealer on it, I won't be green anymore. I won't look like Shrek. Now that those are done, it is time for some foundation. I have been using the Tarte, what is this, Amazonian Clay Full Coverage Foundation recently in the shade Fair Sand. I just put a bit on my hand, like so. Then I take a sponge and I just kind of make my face look like a work of art. By the way, if I'm looking down at any point, I have a mirror sitting in front of me, so just to make sure that, because looking in the viewfinder kind of helps, but also this is closer so I can see a little bit better. If I ever feel that I need more on my face, then I just go back in and add some more. All right, now that my foundation is all buffed in, it is time to go in with some concealer. I start with one concealer just primarily for my under eye, and then I use another one for other areas. So the one for my under eye is the Tarte Shape Tape in Fair, because I'm pale. And then I just take a little bit and then I just take a little tiny sponge like this and buff it in. Then I take my other concealer and just get like certain areas of my face, whether it's a bump or just areas that I want to fully conceal. And I use the Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer in Snow because I'm that pale. Now it is time to set it. So for setting powder, I am using Hourglass's Veil translucent setting powder. I really like this. I had been using Kat Von D's, but I found that it was kind of drying out my skin, so I've been looking for another one that would work well, but was also cruelty-free. Now, even though my eyebrows are microbladed, I still go in with a pencil to kind of just darken them up a little bit more. I mean, really and truly, they'd be fine as is, but I like to just add a little bit more. So I use the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in Taupe. I also do like to shape the actual hairs that are mixed in with my microblading work. But yeah, as you can see, it would be fine as is, but I like them just a smidge darker. See, not much, but you can see the difference. Now that eyebrows are done, it is finally time to start on the eyeshadow. So for that look, I used two things, really. So the base that I used was the Urban Decay Naked Smoky eyeshadow kit. I just put this all over my eyes. I'll show you which colors I use, but this was my base. And then the glittery top-in that everyone seemed to love was this Stila. It is Glitter and Glow liquid eyeshadow. I've never worked with liquid eyeshadow before, but I wanted to try it. And it is in Diamond Dust. So let's start with the base. So to start off with, I take just a fluffier brush and I do the lightest shade all over my eyelid, like all over the whole thing. So in this palette, it is the one called 13 all the way over here on the right. I just load my brush up with that and just go to town all over my eyelids. As you can see, not much of a difference on me. It doesn't need to be super thick. It helps serve as a nice base for me. I don't think everyone does this, but I've just seen a lot of people do it, and so I started doing it too. Next up is the crease color. Someone had told me this really awesome trick because I do have hooded eyelids, and so a lot of times I would be doing color and it just, you couldn't see it because of my eyelids, but someone suggested it and I cannot remember who it was now, so whoever it was, thank you for the suggestion because it really has helped me. If you have hooded eyelids, go above the line, like for me, my crease is right there. I go above it. So for this, I am going to use the color Password. It's this matte gray. Another thing I learned from beauty gurus of the world, you want to do matte colors for your crease. Like you can do glittery or shimmery colors elsewhere, but for your crease, you want to do kind of like a matte color. So then I just go right in here. It looks super dark at first, but as you can see, that's not really my crease right there. It's right above it. When all is said and done, it will look okay. Once I have that applied, I use a completely different brush, like a really fluffy brush, and then I just blend it out. Next up, I am going to do the outer corners of my eyes. And for this, I am going to take the color right next to the one that I just used. So I just used Password, but now I'm gonna use Smolder. I'm gonna get it on this really fine, well, it's not really a fine tip brush, but it's a finer brush. And I just put that all over there. Pull it off a little bit, and then I just start putting it on the corner, like the outer corner of my eye, up into the crease as well. So now I look a little crazy, but that's okay because then we blend it in. So I take a different brush. I use a different brush for pretty much every step. It just, I don't know, I feel better about it. Blend it into the crease and blend it a little bit onto the eyelid. Now that that is all blended, I'm gonna take another brush and blend the crease color with the outer corner. I feel like I probably do overkill when it comes to this, but it just, I don't know, makes me feel better. Now that that is all blended and it's starting to look okay, I'm going to take another brush and do kind of a lighter color on the eyelid. Now this, again, will be covered up eventually by the liquid eyeshadow. So I'm going to do a little bit of Password, which was also the crease color, and then Dagger. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my liquid eyeshadow, and then I'm also going to take a brush that I got out of one of the Naked palettes that I have. All but the most recent one. What is it? The cherry one? I don't remember. But they have kind of like, at least this one came from the original Naked palette. You know, it's got the really nice fluffy brush on the end, but it's got a flatter one. I use that to kind of press the liquid eyeshadow onto my eyelids. So I take this, and then I just kind of put a little bit on my eyelid, like so. And this process I'll probably do a few times just to make sure that I got enough there. So like right there, looks a little crazy, but then I take this flat end and just press it down. Now I see if I like it or if I think it needs a little bit more. You also want to make sure that you get your eyelid and not like go up onto your brow bone area or your crease. You want it to stay on the eyelid. Once I am happy with it, we are good to go on that front. I then kind of just to smoke things out a little bit, I take a really tiny brush, like really tiny, and I go in and I'm gonna do a little mixture of Password as well as Smolder, and then I just go on the lower lash line. I have some there. It's time to kind of just, again, blend it out a little bit. So I take another brush. And there we go. Now the eyeshadow is all done. Next up, we need to do some eyeliner. I've been using Tarteist liquid eyeliner in black. I also learned that hooded eyelids, your best bet is to not try and do a winged liner, which is great because I suck at them. So I am just gonna do a really simple one on top. And yes, I do pull my eyelids so that I make sure that I, you know, don't mess up. Once I have a pretty basic liner done, I take black eyeshadow. This is in Urban Decay's Blackout. And I take an angled brush and I just get some of that black eyeshadow onto the brush, and then I put it over top of the liquid liner. It kind of just helps it stay in place. Another tip that I learned from YouTube. It does have a little bit of fallout, as you can see. That gets cleaned up. It's all good. And so it just kind of adds a little bit to it. So now for the lower lash line, I don't put any liquid eyeliner under there. I just take the Blackout again. I take a different flat brush. I have a brush for everything. And I just put it into the waterline. Next is time for the mascara. I'm gonna just separate, and I am gonna put falsies on, but I like to do overkill with my lashes. Now it's time to prime them. I use the Urban Decay Subversion. I'm realizing that I use a lot of Urban Decay. I never realized that before. So now that the primer is on, I have several mascaras that I use. So the first one that I use, I only put on my top lashes, and it is Urban Decay's Perversion. Then I go on to my bottom lashes, which I use Wet n Wild's Max Volume Mascara. Then I go back to my top lashes, I know it's overkill, with Tarte's Lights Camera Lashes, and just kind of do a sweep through because I find that this mascara separates the lashes better. I put fake lashes on last, so at least now this has the time to like dry before I put anything on it. Now it is time to finally take the bake off. So the first thing that I do now that the bake is off, I take powder foundation, and I am using Kat Von D's Light 45 Lock-It. I think it's called, yeah, Lock-It powder foundation. And I just take a little bit. Now it is time to contour. I have been using Smashbox's, what is this called? The Cali Contour recently. I really like it. It's got contour, shimmer highlight, matte bronze, highlight, shimmer bronze highlight, and matte blush. I'll show you. I really like it. For my contour, I am gonna go in with that color, get all around. The bronzer, that one's a little dark for me, so I usually just stick with that one. I'm gonna take this brush right there, get some of this. And then I take one of these brushes and just buff the crap out of my face. I'm gonna take this brush and get a little bit of that contour, just a little bit though, and I'm gonna go along my forehead and just buff it in until I can't truly see it anymore. As you can see, I have a really big forehead. Now it's time to contour my nose. I take a really tiny angle brush, use the same contour color, and just put some on my nose. And I take another really tiny brush, oval brush, and I just buff it until I can't really see it too much anymore. Next, I will do some blush so it doesn't look like I'm completely dead. My favorite is by far the Tarte Amazonian Clay 12 Hour, and this is in Dazzled. Take a really fluffy brush, get some on there. Before I go in with like the shimmer highlight, I'm going to take this brush and go back to this palette, just get a little bit on here and kind of just put some on my nose, between that contour. And now I'm gonna go in with the Blindin' Jeffree Star in Ice Cold highlight. This is super blindin', I love it. Yeah, that's intense. I also take a really tiny brush, use the same highlight, and just kind of go on the inner corner of my eye. Next, I am going to go in for the lips. I didn't think I could rock black lipstick before, but Jeffree Star's Weirdo is probably like the best one I've come across. So for fake lashes, I am gonna do them off camera just because I suck at them and we don't need 30 minutes of me struggling to put them on, but I am going to use Ardell's Faux Mink ones. This one is 65734. They don't really have names unlike other companies. This one's my favorite. I love it. It looks very dramatic, but I learned that hooded eyelids can get away with really dramatic ones. So this is the one I'm gonna use, but I'm gonna do them off camera, so. All right, my lashes are on. From a distance, they look great. Up close, just don't get up close to me ever. But that is the look that everyone was digging on my Instagram, so yeah. But that is it for this makeup video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big ol' thumbs up. Go on down there and hit that subscribe button wherever it may be, because I don't know. Even though I do, this is just my shtick now. Also hit that notification bell in case you want to know when I upload and in case YouTube wants to let you know when I upload, because I would really appreciate it. And until next time, bye guys.